Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about employers and contractors. And the question is hire or be hired as an employee or contractor? What should I do? Okay, so are you thinking about hiring a contractor or an employee? Or are you trying to decide if you should be a contractor or employee? Watch this video to help you decide. Now, when a business owner starts to see that they need help because they can't do it all alone, the question comes up about what's more cost effective, less stressful, or less time consuming in general. Do you need to onboard, train, pay for everything, or is this person responsible for some costs? Now, for a business, it depends on your business model and what is sustainable. On the other hand, if you're looking to get hired, what risks are you willing to take? So sometimes a part-time employee is a better option because the role does not require hard to find skills. For skilled roles like a web developer or virtual assistant, a contractor type role might be the best option because they work independently on short-term projects. So let's talk about the attributes of each role type briefly to help you decide what best suits you. The advantages I mention are to the employer, and the flip side mostly favor the employee or the contractor. So let's dive in. Let's start off with hiring an employee and talk about the advantages. Okay, so number one, the employer gets to define work hours based on an employment agreement. And they are responsible to work, that's the employee is responsible to work during your business hours. In other words, the employer has control over how, when, and where the work is done. Number two, employees generally require permission to work for others. In cases where they are hired as part-time staff, the understanding could exist between you and them from the start. So the employer gets to decide if this works for them or not. Number three, the employer trains and directs the employee and shows them how they want the work done. Because you as the employer supply the equipment, work produced using your tools belongs to you. So those are the three things. And let's switch over to the flip side. Now, number one, employees are not financially liable if they do not fulfill their obligations. The employer has performance management tools and could issue written warnings or just pull the plug. But either way, the employee is not financially responsible for losses or for producing substandard work, unless it's proven that those were intentional. Number two, the employer, for the most part, except with skilled trades mostly, provides the tools for work and is responsible for repairs and maintenance and expenses from the business's operations. Number three, the employer remits employee taxes and employment insurance premiums to the government. Other payouts must be considered when budgeting for the role, including vacation pay, overtime pay, termination pay, and benefits expenses. All right, now let's switch over to hiring or being hired as a contractor. Now, the advantages. Number one, contractors are hired as specialists, so they work independently, and your continued relationship with them is dependent on their output. If you like it, you may continue, and vice versa. Remember, you always need to have an agreement in writing. Number two, you don't have to invest in training, insurance, or tools for contractors. They come to you with the skill and the tools, and training is their responsibility and cost to bear. Number three, the contractor is responsible to remit their own taxes and does not receive protection or benefits from the employer or employment standards. Now let's switch over to the flip side. Number one, the business or employer has no control over how they get the job done. By they, I mean the contractor, or where that work is performed. And they may subcontract if they need to. If the job requires a presence at a particular time and place, this must be agreed to by both parties. The contractor may work for whomever they choose and provide services to different companies at the same time. So any perceived conflicts of interest must be addressed early on. And number three, the contractor has the choice to accept or refuse work requests from the business owner. All in all, hiring one or the other depends on how sustainable it is for your business and how much control you need to have over their time and work output. My advice is this: do not make cost the biggest deciding factor, because you'll end up sacrificing quality and your own time and end up even more stressed than you were before you hired them. If you're thinking about being a contractor or employee, keep in mind what you can manage. Do you prefer the structure that being an employee provides, or are you good at managing your time and commitments to various businesses? Would you be happy doing your own accounting and remitting your own taxes? On another note, employers can also hire a mix of employees and contractors. It all depends on what works best for you. Just remember key considerations we've talked about, like skill level, control over output, and cost commitments. I hope this helps you decide about hiring or being hired as a contractor or employee. Thank you for watching. Talk to me in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more great content. See you next time.